Hey guys, this is G from Beat Skills. Hope all of you are doing really well. Welcome to 2026. We are starting it at Beat Skills with a loud bang. No, literally, we have a plugin called LoudBody. So this is our first plugin release of the year, and I'm very excited to show it to you. Something I've been working on for almost a year now. You've done your mix, you've done all of that. The classic problem that all of us have is that okay, now I have to go to the streaming service. I need this to be loud, but I don't want my mix to be spoiled because I worked so hard on my production. I've got my drum sounding right. I've got just the right amount of saturation. Then comes the car test, and then comes all of the streaming tests, and it's not as loud. And you're like, okay, let me use an all-in-one mastering plugin, or find presets. And sometimes it's a hit and miss. You get there, sometimes you don't. But what if you could do all of this with very simple controls, with all the complex mechanics of this and the DSP inside hidden that you don't have to worry about? So it becomes a plugin which becomes useful for novices and pros alike. A pro can very much use this and print their final mix, this being the last thing on the channel. Or a novice who really knows nothing about limiting or clipping and all of that could use it. Well, that's the idea with this plugin. There are two basic main knobs. One is loud and one is body, and they do exactly what they say, right? So with the loud knob, we're placing gain into the system, the DSP system, which is an adaptive hybrid limiter clipper. It's an intelligent blender, basically, which blends between limiting peaks and soft clipping your sound. And it does that automatically depending on the material that's coming in. So we've got a look ahead system here, which is kind of reading your data from your DAW before it plays back, analyzing and then applying the right kind of blend and systems so that you can preserve that low end. You can preserve loudness without really squishing or distorting your track. So the idea is to put as much level as you can with the loudness without distorting, and then seeing how much body you need, that is how much transience you want to preserve, or how much software you want to go with transients if you want to push harder. Depending on the kind of track, if it's bass heavy or if it's like a jazz kind of track, you will need different kind of combinations, and you can use your ear, but be louder, right? That's the whole idea. So there's complex mechanics happening and these beautiful graphics that you can see on the plugin, yet it's very, very simple. Loudness really is not something which is a today's problem or a today's kind of thing. It's been there in history. Like in the 80s also, people like Michael Jackson, Prince were definitely pushing their boards, heating them up, like pushing signals, really going hard on the tape and stuff. And then the engineers would really mix it well, but they were then seeking mastering, which would make it even louder. So that on the radio, that time, that's how the hits were played, was on the radio only. So could be louder, already great music, louder than others. So they ensured that there's no, stone left unturned. There is nothing that is lacking in their mix. And so should you. You work so hard with your music. You want to get there, but you just don't want to spoil it. Certain mastering plugins, what they will do is that they will start making EQ curves or start doing some stereo mangling and stuff just to make you, which you're unaware of, and that's kind of tricky. You don't want to do that. In this plugin, it does nothing like that. We want to be as flat as possible. So all the work you've done is preserved, yet we go loud. So let's look at some of the meters and controls and all of that. So we have the input meter and the output meter on the left and right of the knobs, as you can see. So that gives you an idea of how your levels were coming in and then how they are going out. And then we have the dials. Then we have the controls called input output. This is basically trimming your mix. If it was too low or too loud, you can just basically set it up there. And then we have the high pass and low pass filters. So you've got some low end rumble, you can trim that out, or something in the high end. So you don't have to go to another plugin, just basically making it very convenient right here in the box. Then we have another control called stereo link. So this is pretty interesting, right? This is what professional limiters need, and this is something that is expected of a professional limiter. So basically the process is happening either individually on the left and right channel peaks and making them, compressed or limited, clipped separately individually, or then they kind of analyze an average of them and then act on the entire mix, preserving a kind of balanced thing. So nothing is pumping more on left and right. So that's just up to you. Depending on your own material, you can use this control, right? It's pretty simple. Then we see a button here called TP, or which means True Peak. True Peak is an interesting option that some mastering engineers prefer, some don't. The idea is basically to reduce that distortion that happens with the compression that the codecs do. When you upload your material to the streaming service, it will compress it, and then that causes certain distortion. So True Peak limiting can basically avoid that to a large extent. Again, it's something that you can use or not use, totally up to you. Now we have an MS button. So this is that special magic, this is a special mid-side technique which can squeeze that extra ounce of loudness even more. Of course, we haven't forgotten level match, so you can actually see what the processor is doing. And you can see there's not so much coloration, or what's the point at which you want to dial back things a bit. So level match is right there, gain match is right there. You can do that and bypass and see what the difference was between your dry sound and your processed sound. and how much of a difference this processor is making. What's the bearable limit, right? That's what you want. Then we also have a ceiling dial. So this is your final ceiling, the brick wall limit. That's the signal should not go above this. Streaming services have certain standards which you need to obey. And if you follow that through this, you can do that along with the lufts metering and the ceiling. You can just set your standard for your particular streaming service. We also come with about 100 presets for different genres. And those are just starting points, but really you really have to dial these knobs to see what your material is like. But it's just there to get you started, especially for beginners who don't know, how systems work or things work. It can get you started and get you to a certain point. And that's about it. Could you imagine that's all there is in this system? It's just there to be placed at the final stage of your mix bus and get you that extra bit of loudness, preserving hopefully all the hard work you've put in. We're trying to squeeze the maximum perceived loudness from your track at that particular peak ceiling. That's the game. Anyway, listen to this. There's a 15-day trial demo on the website, so you can check it out on your own mixes and see if it's the right fit. Do comment below on how much you like this plugin or any suggestions or anything you want to ask me. I'm right here and I'm very happy to answer all the time. Do like and subscribe to this channel and ring that bell icon so that when we have new videos and new products, you can learn more about them. And I'll see you in another video. Here are the demos.